Good afternoon, everyone. Anthony Locke with Torrey Hills Capital, and welcome to the Sable Resources webcast for March 31st, 2023. Thanks for taking the time to join our virtual lunch. Very excited to bring you Sable Resources. Some of you might be familiar with the story, but for those of you who are not, Sable Resources is a well-funded junior grassroots explorer focused on the discovery of Tier 1 new precious metals and copper projects. The company's projects are located in favorable established mining jurisdictions in Argentina and Mexico. Sable is currently under an earn-in agreement with South 32, a $10 billion mining giant, to develop its Don Julio project. And Sable also has several other targets that we feel have potential to be world-class projects. Company trades on the OTC market under the ticker SBLRF and on the TSX Venture under the ticker SAE. Currently trading with a market cap of only $15 million. The company is trading at roughly 1x cash, and considering the potential of its current property portfolios, strong balance sheet, and experienced management team, we feel there is plenty of upside potential in the stock. The company is expected to report important drill results in 2023 with several opportunities for re-rating in the stock. With us today to discuss Sable Resources operations and growth strategy going forward is the company's president and CEO, Ruben Padilla. Excuse me. It's great to have you on, Ruben. Thanks for taking the time to introduce our viewers to Sable for those who aren't familiar, and thank you for giving us an update for those who are. It's obvious a lot of exciting developments are happening with the company, and I'm happy to have you share those with the group. Excuse me. If you have any questions during the presentation for our viewers, simply type them into the Q&A or chat box, and we'll make sure that they get answered. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ruben. Ruben, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anthony, and thank you to the participants. Anthony always does a very good summary of Sable. And what I'm going to do is to expand on the main points that Anthony just explained. So Sable is an exploration company. And the way that Sable wants to create value for shareholders is by discovering deposits that are big enough to really impact that share price. The type of deposit that we look are porphyry systems, because in the Andes, where we are working mostly, porphyry systems are the largest and the richest deposits. We try to find the biggest one. This type of deposit that we look for are normally in the order of 500 million to more than 1 billion tons, normally with copper and gold and silver and molybdenum credits. Those type of deposits are the one the major companies eventually can buy from us, because that's the business model that we have. Discover something as a junior that is only $15-20 million value company, and then find something that has a value of 500 million to $1 billion. So, and then has a big win. We are well founded to do the job. In this moment, I will explain how, but we have between the cash that we have, there's around 17 million, and access from the money that we have from South 32, our partner in one of the project. We have access to more than $20 million. Give us plenty of money to explore for years. Another important thing is that we have a team that has the experience and a success history to back the program that we have. In my case, I am a geologist. I'm a CEO and president, but I'm a geologist as a career with more than 35 years of experience working in many places of the world, but a lot of experience in the Americas. I work for BHP, one of the largest copper mining company in the world, for 13 years. And I work for AngloGold for another 7 years, which is one of the largest gold producers. And I've been working another 10 years doing different things. I have a master and a PhD in economic geology from the University of Arizona, and I participated in the discovery of over 45 million ounces of gold in a large port in Chile. That's we participated in the discovery of this Escondida East, that is more than 1 billion tons porphyry system, exactly what we are looking for. I also participated in the discovery of Colosa in Colombia. That is a porphyry gold, another porphyry system with a monster with more than 30 million ounces of gold, and among other things that we have done as a success. So we know how to do these things, and I'm going to explain you how we are doing the effort to keep finding more big deposits. We also have a good local expertise, especially in San Juan, Argentina. That is where we do more of our work. San Juan, Argentina is a great pro-mining jurisdiction. Has a great endowment. It has a big deposit. That's the reason we are there. But also it's a great pro-mining jurisdiction. The Fraser Institute ranked San Juan last year as the best jurisdiction for mineral exploration. And so that's what Sable is about. We look for big things because that's what can impact really the value of the company. We know how to do it, and we have the money. And also we have a big land package. We have 164,000 hectares in 3 big properties in San Juan. And we have a lot of the ground also in Mexico where we're doing more early stage exploration. So now let me just show you a little bit more about the way that we do work. But before that, let's go a little overview of the share structure and capitalization of the company. You can see is we have around 286 million shares outstanding. We have, by December, we had around $17 million cash of Sable in the bank. In this moment, we have a little bit more than 15 million in the bank. And we also own 3 important NSRs in British Columbia that came from the past history of Sable. And I don't want to spend too much into these NSRs, but you can see we have also good value here that we can sell these NSRs. Eventually, we will do it, and we will bring more cash to keep doing the work, exploration work that we do in Sable. We have a great, for being a small company, we have a very good top institutional shareholders that we believe that this is very important because having this type of institutional shareholders like Cisco, Merck, Franklin Templeton, and Sprout Investment talk about the confidence that those big institutions have in the work that we do. So now
I'm just going to say, Ruben, any idea what the NSR, NSR royalties are worth? What you think you could add to the treasury if you sell those?
I haven't done the detailed study, but I've been told that probably around $5 million US will be something that we can get out of that.
Oh, great, thank you.
And so this triangle that you see here represent the work, the systematic approach that we have in mineral exploration. This is the kind of systematic approach that successful companies normally use to find ore deposits. So we live in a business that is a high risk and low probabilities of success. That's the nature of looking for these big, high risk, high reward type of deposits. So to maximize the chances of success, we need to be practical, and we need to be scientific, and we have to have a lot of good discipline. So what we see here in this diagram, in the bottom of the diagram, what you see is basically the beginning of the whole process. We pick the land, we have some idea, we have geophysical data, we go do all the research that we do to decide where to go and where to get the land. Then when we have the land, we start looking there for areas, normally between 2 by 3 kilometers areas that we call targets that has a specific geological characteristics that let us think that there's a chance there to have one of these big deposits. So we call it a target, and we give a name to those places. You can see Tocota, Piros, Antena. All of those are places that has the geology that may have the chance to have something that we want to drill, because drilling is the only way that you will finally find an ore deposit. So when we do enough work here, that can be 1 month, 2 years, and even 3 years, before we decide that, okay, that property doesn't have any chances really for a discovery, or too small the chance, or it really has a chance. So we move it, we drop it, or we move it to the first round of drilling to test the concept, to test the hypothesis. Because these are big things, it takes a lot of time. Take a few holes at the beginning, and then we keep going. First round of drilling. We drill, and sometimes we kill the project because the hypothesis is not working in the right direction. Sometimes we put back into target generation here because we need to do more work. And few times that the results of the first drilling is good enough that we move it to the second and third round of drilling. When we are in that process of second round of drilling, so again, we can kill the project, or eventually we can have a discovery. That is what make the big difference. For example, we have this Margarita that you have see here. We had a small discovery. We move very fast, Margarita. We have a good success, but we discovered, and when we did the second round of drilling, that these were veins, and the veins didn't have enough vertical continuity. Although they have a very large extension on the surface, they didn't have enough vertical continuity, and they were not going to have enough metals, and they're not going to be big enough to create a high value, the 100 million, 200 million valuation that we want. So it was going to be small, and we decide, instead of spending more money, after we spent $1.3 million, we sold it for $7.5 million, and that will bring the money back to keep doing exploration. So you can see, I take time to explain this triangle because this is the logic of doing exploration. It's not just living having a good luck. You know, like the people say that to find another deposit, we need to be in the right place, which we pick in the bottom of the triangle. We need to do the right job, that is doing all this process that you see here. And of course, we need to have a little bit of good luck. So this is what this is the way that we explore. Now, let me show you a little bit about our projects, especially the ones in San Juan, Argentina. This map shows you the position of San Juan. This is green area, dark green area here. It's in the border with Chile that you can see here in blue. And then the Pacific Ocean is here. This, every circle that you see there along this line, in this line, are monster ore deposits, are big ore deposits that we will be happy to have. And as you can see, we have 3 packages of land. There's a Fierro, big land package, close to 60,000 hectares. We have Poncha, there's 35,000 hectares. And Don Julio, there is 70,000, big. And we are very lucky to have this land that we were first movers in San Juan. And because we want to add more of those deposits along this mineral belt. I think we have good chances to do that. We're in the right place, doing the right work, and we have a nice piece of land. I'm going to now to describe you a little bit more about Don Julio. That is where we have the JB with South 32. We are doing exploration. We have been there for almost 5 years now. We did 2 years of work in Don Julio, 2.5 years with our money. We generated, we did enough good geology work and brought the understanding of this area to the point that made the property very attractive for major companies to come and join us in exploration. I want to take a little bit of a pause here to explain about this HSP that we do. You know, the work that we are working here is that this deposit needs, this exploration needs a lot of money. It takes time and a lot of money. So normally what takes is that we develop the target between 1 and 3 years. It can be between $2 million and $4 million to develop a big concept of the target. And after that, when we have that, we probably need another $20 to $30 million to get to the discovery level. And so what we have been doing is very successful, is bringing major companies to help us in the second pass. So we do a JV that is very good for us because we can play big with other people's money, and for them is, and eventually we can keep 25 to 35% or 25 to 35% of a big discovery that can be $1 billion value. And for the mayor, it's very good because we take the first chance to look for these areas. And then we also do the management of the JV, and we help them to do a good job in the ground, and we get 10% management fee of that. So it works very well. So let me show you now what we are doing in Don Julio, and then I will talk a little bit about El Fierro after that. Before I jump out of this graph, it's very important to say, for example, that we have Filo del Sol that have been very popular lately because they have a discovery there. It's still an exploration company. And Filo del Sol is in this moment over $2.6 billion. That's what that kind of valuation that this type of deposit can generate. Jose Maria is another porphyry system that is very close to, you see there, Filo del Sol, and it's a $700 million company. Those are porphyries. And Fierro that we have here is only 120 kilometers to the south with rock that same age, similar age of Concha and Don Julio here. So let me show you what we have in Don Julio. This is a land package, big land package, like I mentioned, is the JB with South 32. This area that you see here is like around 10 by 12 kilometers. We have been doing enough work to generate targets. Every polygon that you see there, red and green and purple, are specific targets that are more than 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers, so big enough to host a big deposit. And this is a great place that can eventually have a district scale. District means not just one deposit, but multiple deposits in an area that can use the same infrastructure. We did the first round of drilling in the Gringa here, this target, and we did the first round of drilling in Punta Cana. And we are now in this moment drilling Punta Cana and Gringa at the second round of drilling. So that means that the first round of drilling was good enough to go to the second round. We're also doing this green one here, Fermin. We are doing the first round of drilling in Fermin this season. And we are preparing Poposa right here for the first round of drilling the next season. Sorry, Tocota here. You can see there. So I'm going to show you now Gringa. Then we're going to jump 2 kilometers to the south to talk about Punta Cana. And then another 3 kilometers to the west to see Fermin. And I'm going to show you the one that we are preparing for drilling in Tocota. The Gringa, second round of drilling. We are defining a very big porphyry system below very thin cover of gravels. That means the rocks don't outcrop really. So we need to do a lot of drilling to define the system. But the message I want to pass here is that after many years of exploration, we finally discover a porphyry center here in the Gringa. There is at least in this moment 1.5 kilometers long. It's open to the south and to the north, and 1 kilometer running east-west. So that has the size. We have been doing drilling that you can see really good results, 20 meters of 0.3% copper equivalent, 63 of 0.23. And this type of deposit, we want to see around 0.4, 0.5% copper to get really on the economic size of the discovery. But for this early stage that we are drilling are really good. Just 2 or 3 weeks ago, we published these results of hole number 12 that we are really now getting into really high grade for a copper system. 11 meters of 2.2% copper, 13 of 1.3% copper. So that's now we see in the Gringa, we are drilling right now. We will finish drilling here in May. Hopefully by that time we have a better understanding the picture of this thing, and if we don't have a discovery by that time, definitely we need to go to a third round of drilling in the next season. I hope that some of this drilling that we're doing at this moment will be good enough now to say, okay, we have now a discovery, and now the drilling that we need to do is more geometrical. We need to go and drill another 20,000 meters next season to define the size of this. But we will see. We need to wait for the results of the drilling that we're doing at this moment. We are very happy with the result that we have so far. This is a completely grassroots discovery. Moving 2 kilometers, this is basically the same thing that we in the Gringa. This is a section. With this, we are expecting finding a depth. This is the gravels in the valley, and we are drilling, defining the geometry. With drill hole, we can define all this geometry, all these elements that makes the porphyry work well. That's the nice view of the Gringa Valley. You can see that's a 1 kilometer between the 2 rigs there, and that's covered by these gravels. So we're understanding the geology at depth with drill holes and geophysics. Now, this is Punta Cana. The Gringa Valley is around the corner there, and this is Tocota, 2 kilometers to the south. Punta Cana. And we drilled last season in May. We finished drilling this hole here, hole number 8. We are very first hole ever drilling this in this target. It was very good, 192 meters of 0.34 gold equivalent. And now this year we are drilling into this magnetic anomaly. This is a very magnetic high that normally is associated with the best copper and gold mineralization. We put in this hole right now here. We finished the hole to 400 and something, 450 meters. We're waiting for results for this drill hole here. So hopefully we get no 0.3, but we start getting 0.5, 0.6, 0.7 grams for gold. We are going in the right direction that will merit to come back and do more drilling to finalize the discovery of Punta Cana. So another great target. And now we're going to move to the east to Fermin. That is the first round of drilling. We're drilling right now we're drilling this hole right now. We discovered this is an outcropping zinc, copper, silver mineralization. We have some areas here, for example, with 21 meters of 7.3% zinc equivalent. If we do a section here cutting, it will be something like this. That will be the surface. That will be the outcropping mineralization. And the way that this deposit normally, the style of mineralization they normally behave is that they have the zinc mineralization close to the surface, and they normally evolve at depth into more copper and gold. And that layer, the blue one, is the one we are chasing. So we are drilling this hole right now, right here. And if this hole hit here, we're going to drill the second hole, and we will see. It could be a discovery. It's a very nice grade on the surface, and we can still we keep having the same kind of grade. This is going to be a very good target, or you have a good chance of discovery, because we know on surface this runs for 1.6 kilometers along strike. You can see now the dimensions of the district I talked about Don Julio. The other one was one dimension that we're preparing for drilling for next season. It's called Tocota. This is the neck of an old volcano. We know this is an 8 million years extinct volcano. And right in the guts of this volcano, there is a nice copper and gold mineralization. All this area that you see in yellow now, we're working, finding a really nice copper and gold. And we have the road now here. And we are doing a lot of work sampling and mapping, and we'll be ready for drilling. And this can be another big one here. So that is Don Julio. This is a summary of the Don Julio property. That is the most advanced that we have. And the other one that I mentioned is El Fierro. That is only 120 kilometers south of Filo del Sol, the $2.6 billion company in exploration stage. These rocks, the mineralization here associated to this big magnetic anomaly, this donut shape. The red is a high magnetic values associated to the intrusive rocks to come close to the surface of the earth 20 million years ago. And the magmas sold the metals and mineralized a big area. That's a 15 kilometer diameter thing. And remember, a deposit here, a big deposit is like a 2 kilometer by 1 kilometer. So it's a lot of area to have big deposits. With early stage here, we have been here for 2 years, 2.5 now. But we drilled Piros, is a porphyry system with good results. We discovered this just last December, and we drilled in January with very important results. And Antenna is another porphyry system. And we have more than 10 kilometers of high-grade veins with silver, gold, copper, lead, and zinc, like a peripheral halo to the porphyry system. So this one is now in the interesting stage. We did soils. We took soils over the Piros target, this target here, and also over Antenna. We got excellent results on the geochemistry. So what we're doing right now is doing more trenching with bulldozers, mapping, and the property will be ready to drill next season. We are now in conversation with 2 or 3 major companies, probably to do another JV, like we did in Don Julio, to go to the next big stage that is come with a lot of deep drilling and the big expenditures. We did a little bit of drilling, few holes, and the holes came really good for first round of drilling, 119 meters of 0.22% copper, 34 of 0.3% copper, 30 meters of 0.44% copper, and the style of mineralization that is porphyry. So we did enough work. You can see the way that we work. Nobody knew about this property. Amazing, only 120 k's south of a big deposit like Jose Maria and also Pilos. And we now have the property in the knowledge that really can call the interest of big investors. So why then Sable is a good investment? I think that's the reason that I believe I feel very comfortable to recommend Sable, because we are looking for only big deposits that can really impact and move the needle on the share price. So this graph that you see on the right here show you all those dots that you see are porphyry somewhere in the world, porphyry systems. On the horizontal scale are million tons. This is 100 million. This is a billion tons, and then 10 billion tons. So you can see that some of those are more than 10 billion tons, are huge. 100 million tons is also a monster. The copper grade normally vary between 0.5% and 1% copper. So, and those different colors, you see the diamond polygons, are Palambres, Pachón, Helado, Cerro Casale, all deposits that are big deposits in our neighborhoods. So we are hunting in elephant country, looking for elephants. So there is good chance that we will put one of those dots in this graph. And if we do one of those, it really will change dramatically the share price of Sable. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is that I show you we are systematic explorers. We have a pipeline of high quality projects and we keep producing more. And so we have a chance to keep testing different targets. We at least test 2 of these targets per year, which is also increase the chances of success. And we have the money I mentioned before. In this moment, we have access to more than $20 million to do the exploration, which means that the way that we explore, you can see our budget for this year is 7.7 million. I had to modify the graph here, but because really what happening now is that South 32 is spending around 5.5 million, and we are going to spend around 2.2 million. And so we're very efficient with the work that we do. And if I mention I still have $15 million in the bank, plus the possibilities of selling our NSRs. So spending $2 or $3 million to do the work to prepare these targets, to find new ones, and do the big investment with the partner's money. That can take us for 3 or 4 years to keep playing this big game and increase the chances of having a success. So that's it, the story of Sable. I think that's the end of the presentation, Anthony.
Yeah, thank you, Ruben. We do have a couple questions in queue, but I wanted to encourage anyone, if you have additional questions, please type them into the Q&A or chat box now, and we'll make sure that they get answered. So, reason why we're excited about Sable here at Torrey Hills is that, obviously they're well funded, as Ruben just mentioned. They can go out 3-4 years maybe, especially if they can when they sell those NSRs. And we feel that they're sitting on some pretty solid properties. And also the partnership with South 32 is a very valuable one. And Ruben is one of the most respected geologists in the business. So they really check all the boxes for us in terms of a grassroots exploration company. So Ruben, one of the questions that came in a recent presentation of a gold junior producer in Argentina, which has a second project in Brazil, presenter stated that his company could not take sales cash out of Argentina to help pay for its Brazilian project. Do these Argentina exchange controls impede the use of funds of a strategic partner or purchaser of your 3 San Juan projects?
On the long term, that's an issue for the producers. Remember that fortunately, we are not going to be a producers. There is a limitation how much of your profit you can take in this moment in Argentina. Okay, there are ways to do it because there are plenty of companies, Newmont, Anglo American, Barrick, all of them have big deposits there, and they find their way to get the money out of Argentina. There is something important happening right now because the Jose Maria deposit is owned by the Lundin Group also. They are in serious negotiation with the government of Argentina to do the first fiscal stability agreement. So if they have success with this fiscal stability agreement, it will be a really historical change to resolve the issue that it was mentioned here. But I say everybody working there, South 32, BHP, if you saw, for example, BHP put $100 million for 5 or 6% of Filo. Glencore is there, McEwen is there in San Juan. So the companies are there and they're going to find a way to do it. Fortunately for us, is that we are not going to get the problem because we are not going to be producers.
Right. And I think to your point, there are a lot of very big companies there right now making investments. And I don't think they'd be doing that if if they didn't think there was a way to get money out. So do you think that you're looking at potentially another JV situation for El Fierro? How close are you? I don't know how much you can talk about it, but how close are you to getting some sort of a similar deal at El Fierro to what you have with South 32?
Yeah, I'm in a conversation right now, and this type of things is once we have done a verbal agreement, is let's say that I'm lucky and I can get in the next 30 days or 40 days an agreement in general terms, then to close the deal normally it will take between 3 and 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So what I really expect, my hope is that we have something finished and close before we start the next field season, that is at the beginning of October of this year. That also probably is good there to mention that in San Juan, because the different weather there, the winter is starts in June and finish in August. So normally we don't drill during those 3 months and we come back to the field at the end of September.
Right. So you think that if you could potentially, if you could get something closed here in the next couple of months, would you make an announcement then, or would you make an announcement once you start the agreement?
No, when we finish the deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Someone just asked what the ticker is on the OTC. It's SBLRF. If you're looking at the stock on the
That's
OTC.
a very good question.
Yes, it is. Can you talk about how Cisco acquired the shares and when they acquired them?
Yeah, when we started doing this deal, there was, you remember the triangle, the beginning of the triangle, we were not drilling, we just we had this idea about let's go and do a big company exploration with a junior company. We have great ideas, a lot of experience, we know where to go. But the only thing that we're missing, it was the big money, And what the Cisco did, it was very good. They believe in us, and they gave us $10.5 million for 2% NSR or anything that we discover when we got put together the land package. So for the future, so that's a big a piece of confidence that they put on us,
Mm-hmm.
to do that. And also at the same time, they bought very close to 10% of the shares in the market. So it was a big Cisco was very important for us to really put the company to work.
So what are some of the relationships you have with your institutional investors? Are they in the stock much higher than where it is now? Are they supportive at these levels? What are you hearing from your institutional investors?
The big ones that we have is Merck and Franklin, Sprout Investment, Cisco. I have a good relationship with them, and they are not selling. And the position I always say, Ruben, don't look for small things. Keep doing what you promised to do, that is to look for big deposits. So that's the message always. As long as you keep doing what you told us to do, that is only play for the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
We are with you, and we're going to play with you.
Yeah, and for our viewers, you look at a company like Sable, $15 million market cap, plenty of cash. They can do a lot of drilling, and they can find that big hole. That's a game changer, and we've seen it happen with other companies in that area that Ruben has mentioned earlier. In they're really game changers for the stock. And so when you're looking at a company with a $15 million market cap, it really doesn't take a lot to turn it into a $200-300 million market cap company if they hit the right hole. Can you talk about the specific details around the South 32 agreement? How much can they invest? What percentage, and can that be increased?
Yes, they have to invest a minimum of $14 million to get to 65%. And they have spent so far around $8.5 million, close to 9 probably when we finish this season. And after that, that's just to give them the right to get to 65%. They can exercise that when they finish the 14, or if they don't have a discovery that they feel confident yet, they can keep investing until they feel that they have the discovery that they want. And if they discover something big, they want to have the chance to get to 75%. So what they're going to do is to get to 75 is to finish a PEA study that in this type of deposit is like a pre-feasibility study. So it's important to say that I mentioned this at the beginning. Normally, to get to the discovery level, if we have a discovery drilling in La Gringa, Punta Cana, Fermin, and Tocota, and this, we have a discovery there in those deposits. It will take between 25 and $35 million to get to the point that we say, wow, we have the discovery, 1 or 2 deposits. And then to bring this deposit to a pre-feasibility study, that is for them to get to 75%. Is normally it takes more than $100 million to do the job. So that's what they need to do to get to those levels.
Great. Question that just came in. By following the sector, I can see the recent strength in gold and silver prices hasn't flowed down into the junior miners yet. But can you talk to the stock price? Why you think it's trading at its 52-week or near its 52-week low, and why there's such a disconnect in the market?
Well, I think that in general, I agree with it. Is that the metal prices, gold and copper, are really doing well, and even the producers, forget about the high-risk explorers like us. Really good producers are still being, hammered by the share price. In the case of Sable, there is an exploration, a greenfield explorer. I think the reason that the shares are low is because, it's a high risk type of business, and people have put in the money somewhere else. So that's I think it's the understanding also of this job, the business that we do. Probably I need to keep doing what we are doing in this meeting today. That is bring the message, communicate more and more people why Sable is such a great opportunity. Because it's very difficult, probably just with a website and to try to pass this message. I hope that today, after this presentation, some of the viewers here really get a good understanding why Sable is a good investment. But you can see how difficult it is to pass this message to the big public. So I will keep doing. I will keep bringing my message of why Sable is a good investment.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, we like the company because they are well capitalized. They have a great management team, and we feel like they're going to hit that hole that they're looking for, and they're going to really be able to unlock the value there. And sometimes the best time to look at stocks is when they're near their low. especially as Ruben mentioned, gold and copper have been doing well. So it's the reason why we're on the phone, pounding the tables and trying to get people to understand the story well and really understand what this company has. So Ruben, how much work?
Another thing that I would say that maybe the price is fine, no?
Yeah.
It is not about the price today. It's a sort of low price with a super high. If we have a win, it's not about the price today. It's about the price in the future. And I think maybe the price today is fine. It's just a chance that what happened is that it's about the opportunity to make a big profit if we have success.
Yeah, and as Ruben mentioned earlier, they have a long runway in terms of cash that's going to last them several years. So that's a lot of drilling. It's a lot of potential. So I mean, this isn't an overnight story. This is something where you take a position in the stock maybe and just sit on it and just continue to let Ruben do what he's doing and keep drilling and finding those holes and hopefully he'll hit one and it'll be a game changer. How much work, Ruben, needs to be done to get you to or South 32 to be at a decision where they feel comfortable enough to make a bigger investment in the project? I mean, is it another year of drilling? Is it hard to tell, or does it depend on what you're finding in the ground through drill results?
I would say that I have a lot of confidence that we'll, in another drill season, that will be September to May next year, we will have enough information for them to make the big decision.
Great. Yeah. So that's, basically a year away. Can you go back to your screen that shows, because we have a question as to who are the institutional investors. Is there any way you can go back to that screen and
Is Osisco, is Merck Financial, Franklin Templeton, and Sprout Investment.
And do you have any idea what their cost basis is? When they invested in the company?
Between 23 cents and 30 cents. The last one that was the biggest one that we did, it was at 30 cents.
Canadian, correct?
Canadians, yeah.
Great. So what's the relationship like with the Argentinian government in terms of permitting and things like that? Is it a pretty simple process? Is it more at the state level? How does it work?
Yeah, Argentina managed all the natural resources, especially mining and water, glaciers, all at the provincial level. It's like almost independent countries. And it can be, you can have provinces that are completely anti-mining and you have nothing to do there, and provinces like San Juan or Salta or Santa Cruz that are super pro-mining. So every one of these pro-mining provinces has a minister of mining, has a minister of environment. All the permitting that we do, from building a road, drilling, or building a mine, is all done at the provincial level. In San Juan, the government is very good, very straightforward. They keep their word. When they tell you the permit is going to be 3 months, 6 months, that's the time it takes. And takes few months to get really the permits if we do all the right work. And it's one of the best places, I can tell you, in the Americas to do mineral exploration.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's great. While you're on that page, question came in. Can you discuss warrants, expiration timelines, and strike prices?
Yeah, we have this warrant. You can see there, 31 million. They are around 21 cents, and most of them will mature on August of this year.
Okay. Another question: what do you do with your cash to keep up with inflation but avoid bond treasury losses due to rising interest rates? Are you avoiding risky banks?
Yeah. We're avoiding risky bank. We have some of the money investors but really in the lower risk. We keep in the cash. and our CFO is doing a good job to try to get some interest gaining on the money, but minimizing the risk. No?
Do you keep any funds in gold?
No.
No. Okay. Are you happy with your current portfolio, or are you looking to add more properties? Where would you look, US or South America?
We have a lot of projects, like you see. You know, we are very busy with all this. You show me the triangle, show you how many projects we have. However, I always keep looking around because, especially in days, hard days, with companies, junior companies are having very hard time financing in this market. An opportunity can open, and the places that I like a lot, it would be the US, of course, and some places only in the US, because it's like Argentina. You know, there are a few states in the US that are good for mining, but other ones you never want to go. Just the US, probably no more in San Juan. We have enough in San Juan. And we are active in Mexico, but I'm very careful in Mexico at this moment. It has to be something really worth it, and with more advanced permitting, something that it can really have a more advanced project with a discovery in place. Yes, I keep looking around, but I only want to move into another project if, compared with the projects that we have, if something is worth it to do it. And it's also important that if we can find something, we can diversify our exposure to just one jurisdiction. So
Yeah.
we keep looking around.
Well, you have a property in Mexico. Can you talk about that? I mean, is that close to a point where you're going to start drilling and developing there?
Yeah, we have 39,000 hectares. It's a large land package in the state of Chihuahua, and we are doing work there to prepare property for drilling or to JV them, depending how what we decide to do. And what we are going to do is we have been very busy in Argentina in this time, but in May we stop the field work and we bring some of the geology that we have in Argentina to hammer those properties, go on and do a lot of work. And I ensure by the time we finish from June to August in Mexico, we will have more drill targets in Mexico.
When? What year? This year or next year?
This year.
This year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And I mean, is that going to be part of the drill program for next year?
Well, we need to put all of them, finish the job. Remember the phase 2 work that we do. We have all the target. We need to do the target generation work. And then when we have them ready to go to drilling, we need to rank them. And in that moment, I need to compare what I have in San Juan or what I have in Mexico and decide where I have the best chance to have a significant discovery. So I don't know exactly in this moment how you're going to, what you're going to do with those properties.
From a mining standpoint, what makes porphyry deposits so attractive?
The first thing is that they really form this name that people like to use, tier 1 or world-class deposit, because they can be really big. You know, they can be over 1 billion tons. You can saw there some of them at 10 billion tons. They are normally, you can mine them. So they give you that 100 million or 10 million tons, billion tons. They give you a very long life of mine. We're talking about 50 years, 100 years, those mines. Mm-hmm. So when you do your capex, so huge, it's $1 billion, $5 billion, $7 billion to build one of those mines, but give you the confidence that you will be in production for over 50 years. So that's the one for first things. The second one is that you can mine them as a bulk. They are so homogeneous, the mineralization, in a big area, an area of 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer and 1 kilometer depth. So you can go and blast the whole thing. You can do it on an open pit, or you can do it underground with block caving. So the cost of mining is normally low. It's $2 to $3 per ton. And they give you the ability to produce per day, these porphyries, you can produce daily normally over 200,000 tons per day. Escondida, for example, where I did my master, my PhD, we were putting in the plant there every day 420,000 tons of rock. we were mining 1.6 million tons. So these are monsters.
Mhm.
And they contain very close to 70% of the copper resources of the world,
Wow.
with important gold, moly, and silver credits. So that's why these things are so important.
So how are the resources such as water, power, and roads around your properties? Would it be easy for a company that acquires the project to move forward with development?
Yeah, we have been very careful to work on the east side of the Andes, on the east limit. You know, the Andes is a series of mountains like a 500-kilometer wide in the east west direction. So if you work like you are in the Chilean side, close to the ocean, that's fine because you are in the western margin of the Andes and the access is good. If you are in the east side where we are in Argentina, it's good also because you are at the end, it's a lot of flat area, good access. What is tough to be is when you are in the middle of the Andes. In the middle of the Andes, it can be infrastructure, cost of building the mines are really, really tough, although there are big mines there. But we are in the east side and the infrastructure is very good there, good roads, good access to power, and it's a good place. I think if we have a discovery there, it's a good place to build a mine.
Yeah. Are you only relying on porphyry deposits? If a porphyry doesn't exist where you're drilling, would you still drill or sell?
The porphyries is a name. The porphyries is this big intrusive rock magma that was in place and formed these massive ore deposits, like I say, 1 kilometer by 2 kilometers. But they also have other deposits associated. On the close to the surface, on the margin, they form epithermal silver and gold deposits. They can be very big. We have the example where Barrick is working right now. That is a Veladero. I think it's over 15 million ounces of gold. So they associated to porphyries, they're also epithermal systems, and they can be big. So if we find them, we will be happy to work with them. They're also sometimes copper and silver deposits associated to the margins and replacements of calcareous rocks. Like, for example, the one that we are drilling right now, Fermin, is not a porphyry, it's a skarn.
Mm-hmm.
It's a calcareous rock that's being replaced by fluid that come from the porphyry. So yes, when we look for porphyries are just more than just the center. They also have this peripheral ore deposit that we're happy to have. At the end of the day, if it's something that can create a valuation over $100 or $200 million to the company, we have a discovery, we go for it.
Gotcha. Okay, so one other question I think we can get to. In Mexico, its president Obrador is reducing concession mining licenses from 50 years back down to 15 years. If you take 7 to 9 years from discovery to construct a mine, is the short remaining 6 to 8 years an impediment to your project's value when you want to sell it?
Yeah, that's a good question, because that participant that asked the question is well informed. The president of Mexico right now, just 4 days ago, he sent an initiative to the Congress to change a lot of things in the mining law. He cannot change completely the mining law because he needs a majority, but he can change aspects of the law because he doesn't need a majority there. And one of them is reducing the time to 15 years that can be extended to another 15 years, 30 years. It is, there are more things, not only that, there's another problems in those changes. I hope that they don't pass that. And just one other thing I can tell you is that I am aware of that, and I'm not going, we will decide how to move in Mexico depending on those changes. We need to pay attention about those changes.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, that's a big one. I don't see any more questions in queue. I think we're going to leave it there. Ruben, I really appreciate you coming on today and getting our group up to speed on the company. It's an exciting time for the company and a great time to look at the metal space And we obviously look forward to following the progress on the company. As usual, Ruben, before we wrap it up, any parting words for our guests?
I just, it was really a pleasure to share this piece of the Friday with you. And I hope that some of you can join us and get some shares and hope for have one of these big discoveries and enjoy the rise of the price of the shares.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we feel like, I know here at Torrey Hills Capital, we feel that Ruben has definitely done a great job managing the funds, managing the drill program, and we're really excited. We think Sable has a bright future. In the meantime, you can get additional information on Sable Resources at the company's comprehensive website, sableresources.com, including information on the company's current projects and latest press releases. If you have any additional questions after we conclude the meeting, please feel free to email me and I'll make sure they get answered.